Right now, a local town reverses course, going back on a vote that initially approved a beagle breeding facility.
And a new pilot program will kick off next year at one of Madison's high schools. What it's hoping to achieve, the story straight ahead.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 10.
Thanks for joining us tonight. The town of Spring Green is taking a step back.
Tonight, the town rescinding their recommendation of approval for a kennel used to breed beagles for medical testing. Gabriella Becerra joins us in Spring Green with the community's reaction. Gabriella?
The town previously provided a recommendation of approval for the facility off of Big Hollow Road, but after the community provided public outreach, the two board members decided to hold a special meeting tonight to review that information. The main concern about the facility was in regards to the environment. The board and public expressed concerns on the dog waste affecting the air, water, and land in Spring Green. The public feels like there isn't a substantial plan in place to handle the removal of feces and carcasses. Owner Clint Kane says he respectfully declined an interview with News 3 Now, but says he agrees with the process of the board.
At the end of the day, if we're really clear about the bioethics, we really look at the journals, look at the meta-analyses, what we see is that it is by no means clear that the use of beagle models will keep you safe.
The only benefit to this is to the facility owners because they're going to be making profit off of this. As far as the community members, they get absolutely no benefit. They only have the environmental and health effects of this. And of course, the stigma of having such cruelty in their backyards here.
The town's recommendation is just that. Sauk County has the ultimate say-so, and they will be reviewing that information. But the village of Spring Green will also be holding a hearing next week to review the facility at the other location.
Gabriella Becerra reporting live tonight in Spring Green. Thank you. Green Bay police are recommending felony charges against a 55-year-old woman after a dog dies inside a hot car outside of Lambeau Field this afternoon. When Green Bay police arrived, they found a golden retriever locked in a car. Officials say it had been in the car with the windows up for about 3 hours. The dog was removed and taken to an animal hospital where it died.
And temperatures will only be heating up over the next week or so, regularly hitting 90 degrees, prompting several alert days in the forecast. Let's check in now with Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti. Our first alert forecast, Gary.
Eric, actually, we have alert days in the forecast beginning on Sunday of this weekend and going through Sunday of the following weekend. That's how long this next heat wave could be. But right now, weather track free of clouds across Wisconsin or precipitation. High temperatures today, pretty comfortable, 82. The average high temperature today, 82, so we're right there. And current temperatures are in the mid-60s. Dew point temperatures are still in the upper 50s, and that's about how cool we'll get for tonight. But as the dew points rise, so will the overnight low temperatures and the actual air temperatures. When they rise along with that temperature, or with the dew points rising, we're going to see heat index values into the triple digits next week. Look for a high tomorrow of 85 under mostly sunny skies. That's your News 3 Now First Alert forecast.
Gary, thank you. Two Middleton bar owners have pleaded guilty to skimming cash from video gambling machines. Dudley and Sherry Hellenbrand have owned Middleton Sport Bowl since 1997. The two contracted with a video gambling machine vendor to put machines in their bar. They split the profits with the vendor, but investigators say they skimmed cash receipts and didn't report the total income when required to report and pay taxes on their profits. Investigators say the tax loss totaled nearly $270,000.
A handful of Democratic hopefuls are in Wisconsin tonight, getting their message out to voters in a town hall event. This is in Milwaukee. Candidates Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Beto O'Rourke, and Julian Castro are all participating. Each candidate was able to talk on stage for 20 minutes. The candidate's appearance early in the campaign highlights Wisconsin as a key toss-up state that Democrats want to reclaim. The president will be in Wisconsin tomorrow. He's attending a fundraiser in Milwaukee. Today, the president also announced he is dropping his fight to add a citizenship question to the 2020 census. Instead, he's taking new executive action that will require agencies to hand over citizenship information to the Department of Commerce.
I am hereby ordering every department and agency in the federal government to provide the Department of Commerce with all requested records regarding the number of citizens and non-citizens in our country. We will utilize these vast federal databases to gain a full, complete, and accurate count.
The Supreme Court blocked the question from the 2020 census 2 weeks ago, saying the government would need a better justification to add it.
Madison Police Chief Mike Koval says he is cutting a quarter of the officers in community engagement programs and moving them to traditional patrols next year. According to the chief's blog, the department is short 31 patrol officers, and the 12 officers being moved will help with that. The proposed 2020 city budget only adds 1 patrol officer, a detective, and a civilian employee. UW-Madison police are reminding you to lock your cars after a chase involving a stolen car through campus last night. UW-PD arrested a 15-year-old driver and a 17-year-old passenger. A third suspect, they say, is still on the loose. The teens crashed on Roby Road just west of Camp Randall. The two were eventually caught about a mile away near Babcock Drive on campus. 3 officers suffered minor injuries while running after the suspects. Another similar situation happened overnight in Fitchburg, leading to the arrests of 3 14-year-olds. Officers say they saw a stolen car near Verona Road at Atticus Way. The suspects led police on a chase that came to a stop under the Beltline at Park Street. The teens took off running, but were eventually caught and taken to juvenile reception on multiple charges. The Madison Metropolitan School District is trying something different in one of its high schools next year.
Starting on the first day of school, kids at West High School will be able to get condoms from the nurse for free. Amy Reed joins us now to explain the program and why the district is starting it. Amy?
This is a test run. If it goes well, the district will expand it to other schools, but this is something they said they've wanted to do for a long time.
For years, nurses in the Madison Metropolitan School District have watched sexually transmitted infection rates climb.
We've been thinking about doing a program like this for several years, and then with the increase in the number of young people with STIs or sexually transmitted infections, we decided it was time to begin.
So starting this fall, students at West High School can get condoms from school nurses for free. But the first time they ask for some, it will come with a refresher on sex ed, including sexual and reproductive health and consent.
STI rates have been increasing over the last several years, and so this is just an opportunity to try to decrease that.
The condoms come free for the school district, donated from an outside agency partner, and since there are already nurses at the schools, it doesn't cost the district to add the program. The nurse and principal at West High School were excited about starting there, but the district will consider expanding to others if the program goes well, especially given the need district-wide. The 2018 Dane County Youth Assessment showed 35% of high schoolers reported having sex, but only 55% of high schoolers always use a condom to prevent STIs. The district's health services coordinator said so far parents are happy kids will have somewhere besides their friends and social media to learn from. And that's what we heard from parents too, like Sergio Torrado, whose son will be a sophomore at West.
Kids are, I don't know how to tell you, but kids are doing a lot of crazy things.
Parents of kids at other high schools who are interested in this program will have to wait until the end of this year to see if the program will continue.
We'll assess the pilot program at the end of the school year based on parent and student reaction. If it's good, you could see this spreading across the district starting the year after.
A bridge construction project in the heart of downtown Janesville is expected to be delayed even more. Work on the Milwaukee Street Bridge started in the beginning of last October, and now it is expected that the work won't be done until the end of this October. The state DOT said they have a subcontractor doing the work, but high water levels during last fall and this spring, paired with extreme weather this winter, are fueling the delays. A Madison USPS worker says if you've noticed that your mail is arriving later than it should, it's because of a staffing shortage. They said it's been going on for a while now, and many of the mail carriers are taking on 70-hour weeks at times. USPS said in a statement that they recently had a job fair to fill some of those vacancies. UW
System Board of Regents unanimously approves a student fees and room and board cost increase for the upcoming school year. Under this plan, student fees will increase an average of $36 across the system. Now, Madison students will face a $170 increase. That's the largest of any four-year school. When it comes to room and board increases, that'll range from $20 at Stout to $258 at Madison. A Stoughton family trying to put a fence up in their yard is running into some unexpected roadblocks. Marcia Berrigan has 4 young children, one with autism, and is worried about them heading off into that cornfield bordering the yard, or even worse, into a busy street. But when she tried to put up a barrier, she ran into some obstacles of her own. Because of an easement on that property, a city ordinance says she is not able to put up a fence.
We love our house. We don't want to move, but we need to make sure our kids are safe where we have to.
Stoughton's Planning Commission is looking into potential changes on the zoning ordinance, considering input from Stoughton Utilities. The utility company says the ordinance is important for overall safety, so utilities are able to access properties with easements in case of events such as a power outage or water line break.
It's important that we're able to get in there quickly and basically provide the needs of all of the community, not just looking at each individual property when it comes to restoration.
Stoughton Utilities says while the ordinance is important, this is a good opportunity to revisit it and see if any changes make sense. That'll be discussed next Thursday night at a Public Works Committee meeting. Still ahead tonight, the site of the worst nuclear meltdown in history will soon become an official tourist destination.
Plus, an update on Tropical Storm Barry churning and gaining strength right now in the Gulf of Mexico. Stay with us. Welcome back. Chernobyl, the site of the world's worst nuclear disaster, is set to become an official tourist attraction.
Ukraine's president signed a decree this week that set out plans for new walking trails and enhanced mobile phone reception. Much of the area has been open to tourists since 2011. There's been a sharp rise now in visitors since an HBO miniseries about the tragedy aired earlier this year. On April 26, 1986, a reactor at the nuclear power plant exploded, forcing a region-wide evacuation and sending radioactive fallout billowing all across Europe. While the explosion itself caused around 30 deaths, the final death toll as a result of long-term radiation exposure is much disputed. 18 tons of cocaine and marijuana valued at more than $569 million is now in the hands of the U.S. Coast Guard. Officials say the drugs, it's part of a multi-jurisdictional seizure in international waters over the past 2 months. The Coast Guard found the drugs by intercepting 14 vessels, mostly panga boats and homemade submarines. Officials say most were from Central and South America.
Some incredible video overnight. A KFC restaurant in Eden, North Carolina was destroyed by a suspected gas explosion. This is surveillance video from a neighboring video. No one was injured, but the official cause is still being investigated. Amazon workers are planning a labor strike on Prime Day. According to Bloomberg, the 6-hour work stoppage will happen on July 15th at Amazon's Shakopee, Minnesota facility. The workers want better pay and working conditions, but Amazon says it already offers competitive hourly rates ranging from $16.25 to $20.80 an hour with benefits. Amazon Prime Day is the annual shopping event exclusive to Amazon Prime members. This year, Prime Day will last for 2 full days, July 15th and 16th. One of the biggest car shows in the country kicks off today. This year, the Iola Car Show and Swap Meet is celebrating its 47th year. The theme this year is calling all club cars, but next year, it's up to you. This weekend, there's a competition for what the next poster and theme can be for next year. A tropical storm is lurking in the Gulf of Mexico, and by the time it blows ashore in Louisiana this weekend, it may be the first hurricane of the Atlantic season.
Yeah, New Orleans is not planning to evacuate, but police are imploring residents to shelter in place.
Please remain in your homes. Do not go out. Do not drive in flooded streets. Do not drive through standing water.
National Weather Service says rain is the #1 threat here. 10 to 15 inches, possibly 20 inches. In some areas, the city had a heavy dose of rainfall just ahead of the storm already. With the Mississippi River already at twice its normal high, the Flood Protection Authority is taking the unusual step of shutting more than 200 gates, something Gary has been watching closely, and he joins us with a look at how it is going now and how it might affect us.
Yeah, that's an area that just doesn't need any more rain, but they're going to get a lot of it. It will probably be from either a strong tropical storm or a minimal hurricane. This is Barry right now, still kind of disorganized. The center of circulation is well displaced from the showers and thunderstorms and even the clouds, but eventually this will tighten up its circulation as it stays over the warm waters of the northern Gulf of Mexico over the next day or two before moving inland. Right now, top winds 50 miles per hour, so that's up 10 miles per hour in the last few hours. Moving to the west now very slowly at 3 miles per hour. Eventually, it'll make a curve toward the north, and the latest forecast from the National Hurricane Center brings it on shore near hurricane strength between New Orleans and Lafayette, Louisiana, and then takes it northward through Louisiana and into Arkansas, weakens it into a tropical depression, still with winds of about 35 miles per hour, but more importantly, still bringing a lot of rain inland. But then the storm makes a curve toward the Ohio Valley and stays south of Wisconsin. We thought maybe some of the moisture from this could reach us and maybe at least give us some temporary breaks from the heat Wednesday and Thursday. Right now, that's looking unlikely. Hurricane warnings in effect west of New Orleans. Tropical storm warning in effect for the New Orleans metro area, as well as the mouth of or the southern portions of Mississippi and Alabama. Tropical storm watch for areas inland there. But the rain, take a look at this. This area here, maybe 15 to 20 inches of rain near or just to the east of New Orleans. And then as Barry weakens and moves inland, you can see that heavy rain threat moving into at least parts of Tennessee with maybe as much as 4 to 6 inches south and west of Nashville. But again, that moisture stays to our south. And right now, the air is very dry. Things very quiet across the upper Midwest. Showers and thunderstorms north of the U.S.-Canadian border. Now, tomorrow night, there could be a thunderstorm threat in a few spots. The Storm Prediction Center actually has a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms because there'll be enough instability that any thunderstorm that does develop could bring gusty winds and maybe some brief heavy rainfalls. However, it's possible we might not even see rain at all, so it's a very conditional threat for tomorrow night. Time-lapse from the WISC Skycam started out with clear skies this morning. Some cumulus clouds popped up late morning, early afternoon, and then we cleared out again as we headed towards sunset. It was a beautiful evening with the low humidity. Live view from the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison. Very quiet out there right now. Our almanac for today shows a high temperature of 82, the low temperature 65, and right now we're sitting at 65 degrees. The air is calm. The dew point temperature 58, so the air is pretty comfortable. But as we take a look at weather track, you can see this, how the jet stream is starting to bulge over the western part of the country. That's the heat that's starting to build, and as that jet stream heads to the north, it keeps the rain threat away from us as long as Barry doesn't move far enough inland to give us some moisture, and that will just continue to exacerbate the heat for much of next week into the following weekend. High pressure is located just out to the west of us. High temperatures today, 80s here, Look at the growing area of 90s out to the west. That's what's headed in our direction by the end of the weekend. So overnight, look for mostly clear skies, a comfortable night, low temperature dropping to 58 degrees. For tomorrow, mostly sunny, very warm, high of 85. The humidity level still not too bad. So talking heat index values between 85 and 90. Future track, clear skies overnight, temperatures dropping into the upper 50s, highs tomorrow, mid 80s. Then tomorrow night, that weak front may be generating a shower or thunderstorm as it drops southward. Very iffy at this point, and maybe a shower or thunderstorm chance on Saturday, but then the temperatures jump right up into the upper 80s. And take a look at the 7 to 10 day forecast. Again, alert days starting on Sunday and lasting all the way through Sunday of the following week, because we're looking for high temperatures every day at or above 90, nighttime lows in the 70s, and heat index values could be in the 100 to 105 range for several of those afternoons. That's dangerously hot.
Wow. Okay.
You've been warned.
Yes, we have, Gary. Thank you.
Sure.
Thanks, Gary. Madison Mallards take on a new identity tonight. The story coming up in sports.
The big sports news of the night, a trade in the NBA involving two of the biggest names in the league. Oklahoma City sends Russell Westbrook to Houston, where he'll rejoin James Harden to form one of the highest scoring backcourts in NBA history. The Rockets paid a price, though. They sent Chris Paul and two future first-round draft picks to OKC. There was baseball at Warner Park tonight, but the Madison Mallards didn't play. The Wisconsin Cheese Curds did. The Mallards are taking on a new identity for 3 Thursdays in July, including tonight against the Fond du Lac Dock Spiders. So it's the Wisconsin Cheese Curds. Same players, different uniforms. How about those checkerboards on the sleeves? Well, you can bet you can get that merchandise at the Mallard store. In the game, the Cheese Curds' E.J. Rennell shoots one to left. That's going to score 2. Justice Bigby later hit a walk-off 3-run homer in the 9th, and the Cheese Curds are undefeated. They win 6-4. Steve Stricker had a tough choice to make this week. Go to the John Deere Classic in the Quad Cities or go for his 3rd straight major on the PGA Tour champion. So far, he's chosen wisely. Stricker's caddy this week at the senior event is his brother-in-law and agent Mario Tiziani, and so far it's clicking. Stricker's round included a hole-in-one on the 7th and some made putts too. Stricker shot 5 under through 17 holes before bad weather hit and suspended the first round. Stricker has a 3-shot lead with quite a bit of the first round still to be played. Jerry Kelly's off to a slow start, 1 bogey and the rest pars in his first 6 holes. They'll resume round 1 tomorrow morning at 7. Serena Williams will play for the Women's Singles Championship at Wimbledon. It took her only 59 minutes to beat Barbara Strykova in the semis today. It'll be Serena against Simona Halep in the women's final Saturday. Serena Williams has won 7 Wimbledon times already, and with another win would tie Margaret Court with 24 major titles. UW hockey freshman Cole Caulfield is turning a lot of heads, and he hasn't played 1 game for the Badgers yet. Caulfield was on the ice yesterday as the Badgers practiced for their upcoming preseason trip to Canada. He's a freshman from Stevens Point, was drafted 15th overall by the Montreal Canadiens last month. Going to the NHL right away is always tempting, but Caulfield says Madison is the place he should be right now, at least for this season.
You know, everybody wants to play the NHL. I think that's the goal for every kid growing up. But I mean, for me this year, and you know, you just kind of take it, you know, day by day. And right now, I want to be here. I want to be here for this upcoming year. I mean, we've got a great team, great bunch of guys in the room, and great coaching staff. So, I mean, you're not. You know, it's not a bad thing to be here this year. And so, I mean, I think I'm gonna get a lot better and a lot stronger here in the workouts and stuff. So, I mean, I couldn't be in a better spot.
Melvin Gordon wants a new contract from the Los Angeles Chargers. Sounds like he's willing to sit out to get one. Gordon told the Chargers unless he gets a new deal, he'll be demanded to be traded and won't report to training camp. Gordon would face a fine of $40,000 a day for every day of camp he'd miss. He's entering the 5th and final year of his rookie contract, set to make $5.6 million this season. Gordon's agent calls the Chargers' latest contract offer disrespectful. And we'll be right back.
He'll have a first down. He's got a head of steam, and Gordon is going to outrace everybody to the end zone for the touchdown.
And Gary rejoins us as we get ready to kind of brace ourselves for this heat wave coming.
Yeah, it's a good thing it wasn't too hot for the cheese curds tonight.
It melted right out.
Yeah, the next week and a half, really, we're looking at a lot of heat and humidity. No rain tonight to break the heat. Temperatures right now very comfortable, middle 60s for the most part. Highs tomorrow, mid-80s. Humidity levels still not too bad. Thunderstorm chance tomorrow night into Saturday as the humidity starts to come up. Then the rain chances go down, the temperatures go up. Maybe a slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm Wednesday or Thursday. Otherwise, hot and humid every day through next weekend.
All right, Gary, thank you. And thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 10.
Do something good, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.